Hey wrestling fans, welcome to 360 Wrestling Fanatic episode 300, and just got out from AEW Dynamite Blood and Guts, and well, you already know I'm Lance Brock, but I'm not alone tonight, and making his long-awaited return to 360 Wrestling Fanatic. He took a few years. He had to recover after the beatdown from the other Lance Brock from Clash Wrestling 360 and Wrecking Ball Randy Casey. Plus, he did a contract negotiation and asked for more money. But Tony is back.
Yes, now I'm being paid what I should have been paid to begin with, and so my injuries are healed, I guess.
Welcome back.
Thank you, sir.
Since I am the 360 Wrestling Fanatic Lance Brock and not the Clash Wrestling 360 Lance Brock, who the last time Tyler Elkins was on the show, Caveman Elk, he explained to us that Lance Brock ran off to Vegas, got married, and he hasn't been seen since.
That's true, he did.
So, now that Lance Brock's gone, we can just host this show. Two guys talking about pro wrestling. And how are you doing tonight with the leaving Little Caesars Arena AEW Dynamite? First time in Detroit.
It's true. It was a very well put together show for us. It was very exciting.
And it was very entertaining, but quite a long night.
Yes,
Dark Elevation, Dynamite with the blood and guts, which lasted about an hour or so. When did you say? The blood and guts match.
Yeah, the match. Yeah, it was just under an hour, maybe something like that. Yeah.
And then Rampage, but we're just gonna talk about the nitty gritty, like you would say. Who would say? I don't know, but blood and guts. And we start off here. We got on commentary. We got Excalibur, Taz, and Tony Schiavone. No Jim Ross on Dynamite, but he'll be seen later, though.
Yes.
And we got, kicking things off, we got the Acclaimed or half of the Acclaimed, I should say, Max Caster and Austin and Colt Gunn taking on Danhausen, who was over big time, by the way, tonight.
Yes, sir.
And FTR, the Ring of Honor Tag Team Champions, and the IWGP Tag Team Champions. And this one, Danhausen, FTR win, but some interesting stuff here. The Gun Club, or the Ass Boys, as they're called, get upset, and Billy Gunn, their father, pushes one of them down and actually sides with the Acclaimed.
He does, yes. It was a match-ending mishap that happened. Who was the one in the wheelchair? Sorry.
Oh, Anthony Bowen.
Yes. He decided to intervene. Apparently, he is not as injured as anyone thought, because he quickly and urgently got into the ring to hit. Who was it? It was Danhausen at the time.
Yeah.
With the crutch, Danhausen ducks out of the way, and he takes out, was it Austin?
It was Austin or Colt. I have trouble telling them apart, to be honest.
True. It was the one that went long hair. I think that's Austin. But he takes out one of the Gun Clubs, and that is where you see Danhausen then pick up the victory after getting Anthony out of the ring. So they I don't know, they were discussing it. Anthony goes to help Austin up. Austin starts shoving him back. They start shoving, and then Billy steps in between them and shoves his own son down and sides with the Acclaimed. It looked to be as though, he was saying, hey, mistakes happen. I interfered on the other side to help him interfere, and it did not work. Possibly is the way I seen it, but we'll see what comes of it next week.
And we got the TBS Championship on the line. Jade Cargill taking on Layla Gray. This one was kept short. Kind of a squash match.
Oh, yeah, it was.
And Not bad, though. I mean,
It wasn't.
they're pushing Jade. They want her to look dominant, so that's fine with me.
Agreed. But another interesting at the end of this. Crap.
Yep,
No,
Athena and Chris Statlander get involved.
They run in, but then her opponent helped Jade.
She wants to be a baddie.
Right. And Jade did not like that. So we'll see what comes of that.
And then it's time for... I messed up on my note here. Apparently in the Blood and Guts match is Eddie Langston.
Oh, that's a great snafu.
Eddie Kingston. Sorry about that if he's listening to this podcast, which I'm sure he's probably not, but... And then we got Proud and Powerful, and then got Claudio Castagnoli, the former Cesaro.
Swiss Superman?
I'm glad to see that he's all elite now. And let's see, we got them starting things off, and then Sammy Guevara comes in for the Jericho Appreciation Society.
Wait.
And they start off, I should say.
Yeah, but you threw Eddie Kingston in there. Eddie Kingston just came out first.
Yes.
He wasn't in the match first.
Yeah. I don't know where I am.
I don't know either. Okay, so Sammy Guevara and Claudio start the match.
Yes.
There you go. Which was a great start, by the way.
I was trying to, in my defense, I was trying to watch the show and then also take note for the podcast.
Agreed. They can get interesting sometimes.
Okay. Sammy Guevara and Claudio with Ty Conte in his corner.
Well, yeah.
And we got Angelo Parker coming up next. And to give the JAS the advantage. Now I should be good here on my notes. And then we got the young upcoming Willard Yuta.
Yep.
Who impressed me tonight. I don't know about you.
He was very good in the ring. There's no doubt about it.
Then we get Jake Hager, and we get a reunion of We the People. Only thing that missing was Zip Coulter.
Yes.
And then John Moxley, and then Daniel Garcia, and then Ortiz, and then Daddy Magic Matt Menard is after him, and then Santana brings in a table. And I just want to mention real quick before we get into the rest of the match, somehow injury, unfortunately, looks like a real injury with Santana happened sometime during the match.
There was so much going on in this match. We lost track a couple times of people, and even Jack Hager stayed down a while. And I'm not even sure why. He buried himself under the ring at one point. So, possibly a bunch of injuries coming out of this match, but for sure, Santana definitely had one. He was protected well during the match by all who were in it.
And towards the end of it, while they kind of used the rest of what was going on top of the cage as a distraction, and they carried him to the back.
Yep.
And then, let's get back to the match. We got Chris Jericho, the Wizard. I'm kind of surprised we didn't see a fireball tonight.
I was surprised by not seeing the fireball. But he did have a bottle of something, which I'm not sure. It looked like Tay, I don't know, it might have broke, so he might have not have been able to do a fireball per se. I would have figured that would have been the fireball. But he then did spray it in the face of, was it Eddie?
Yes.
Not sure if it was, so...
And then we got Eddie Kingston, the last one to enter. And then Kingston and Ortiz double powerbomb Jake Hager through a table.
Yes.
And got on top of the cage, Jericho gets the Walls of Jericho, Lion Tamer, whichever you want to call it.
Yep.
On top of the cage on Moxley. And then we see thumbtacks, broken glass in this match. Of course, it's bloody. And then Ty Conte tries to get involved, but Ruby Soho comes out and tries to stop her.
Yes.
And Kingston and Jericho get up on top. And then Sammy Guevara Kingston throws Sammy Guevara, taking a huge bump off the cage through the timekeeper's table.
Yes, he did. And somewhere, once again, there was stuff going on in the ring at some point. It appeared at some point, because near the end of the match with, I'll let you get to it and we'll call it out.
Yes.
Eddie Kingston seemed to have injured himself too at some point.
And then Claudio even does the swing on top of the cage.
He does.
And double scorpion deathlocks for the finish. And then we get a tap out. Blackpool Combat Club victorious in this one.
Yes.
And I will be watching, I don't know about you, but I'm going to be watching it either tomorrow or sometime to see what it's like watching it on TV, and then the difference between watching it on TV, watching it live.
Well, I have a feeling you're going to be able to follow what they say on the camera a little bit easier than us with all the action that was going on. Near the end there with the double submission and Kingston having it on Jericho and Claudio. Who do you have tied up?
Matt Menard.
Yes. He had him in the figure, not the figure four.
It's a scorpion.
Yeah, the scorpion, sorry. That he tapped out, but it did look like Eddie was upset with him at first, at least, for not letting Jericho tap out. I'm kind of uncertain there. We know there's a history between them. We'll see if anything comes of it. But by the end of it, Claudio was helping Eddie down off the cage and out of the ring. So,
and then after, we have Tony Khan back out again, which he was out before the show started, and then he says, hopefully he means this, but he says he can't wait to have a pay-per-view here in Detroit.
Great. He said Detroit means a lot to him and his family. So,
and it's an important wrestling city too, here in Detroit.
Agreed.
And too bad we didn't get a special Kevin Nash appearance here. Or Rob Van Dam, the Steiner brothers.
I didn't see that coming. It would have been nice, but yeah, I did. Maybe at the pay-per-view.
And just a little note, this Friday night Rampage TNT, we're going to have the first ever Rampage Rumble. And I thought it was quite entertaining. Definitely worth checking out. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes. 2 rings, a lot of action going on once again. A little bit easier to follow this match, even though a lot of guys are coming in and out of the ring simultaneously, but
not quite as chaotic.
Right. I mean, with us trying to battle through, looking through the cage and where people are, that was a little hard, but the 2 rings for a, Royal Rumble per se, they obviously Royal Rampage, but was very interesting and entertaining.
And I just want to mention, won't give the spoilers, but very good tag team match between the Young Bucks and New Japan Pro Wrestling's Hiroki Goto and Yoshihashi.
Was very entertaining.
And that's the only bad thing I think about these tapings sometimes is with all the action from Dynamite, and then you gotta, especially tonight, taking down the Blood and Guts cage, cleaning up the ring, which we forgot to mention the exposed boards.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Blackpool did decide to pull back after Blackpool decided to throw tacks and glass all on one side of the ring. They tore up the mat to expose the boards on the opposite side of the ring, which did come back to hurt a couple of them, but also helped them. So.
And for all those people that think, wrestling rings is just like a trampoline, it's soft. We put rings together, we know there's definitely no soft about it when you're bumping on it.
No, not when you're being slammed on it by another human being. There may be slight give, but not a lot.
So, overall, I thought Tony Khan, I know there's some critics, especially Jim Cornette. We've talked about that on the way to the show, but And some other people don't care for Tony Khan, but I think Tony Khan's great. I'm a big fan of him. But what does Tony think of Tony Khan?
I mean, I like him. I guess I won't say great. To me, he's excited about it. He's passionate about it, but he's still learning it. You know, it's these... I don't want to say, he's the mastermind behind all these matches or anything. Obviously, AEW is very intriguing to a lot of wrestlers because they have a lot of say in who they are and how their matches play out. We'll put it that way. Now, it does have to go through, obviously, I'll call them filters, which one of those filters probably would be Khan. But, I will say he's given free reign a lot, and it has not backfired yet to where it's just a hot mess of wrestlers trying to put themselves over and over and over and over. But like we said, these matches tonight, the Royal Rampage for Rampage, and then the Blood and Guts match. Maybe he said yes to a couple too many things. There was a lot going on. I missed how I don't even know who it was. One of them was hanging on the side of the cage. Yes. When no one had left the cage yet, I totally missed how he got outside and was hanging off the stanchions holding up the cage. So
it was hard to pay attention.
Yeah, so, there was just a lot going on. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. Like I said, the Jumbotron there at LCA is what you're watching on TV. So I was kind of going back and forth to kind of see what they were watching, and there was just so much stuff. Cameras were flipping back and forth a lot. It's going to be interesting to see how the commentary team stayed with it.
Well, I'm fine with one Blood and Guts match a year.
Yeah, just one a year would be good.
And the thing, getting back to Tony Khan, is I like how you saw tonight and other interviews he does, is how excited he gets for the pro wrestling business, how he gets into it. And he actually, some of the things he said in interviews before reminds me of myself, because he talked about when he was a kid, what a big fan he was, how he always used to record shows on VHS back in the day. I think you're also old enough to remember a VCR.
Yes.
And read all the wrestling magazines, the trading cards, the action figures, all that good stuff, just like I used to do when I was a kid.
Yes.
And if Tony Khan's listening to this podcast, if he ever hears it, I would love to have him on as a guest. That'd be a great interview to have.
It would be one hell of a guest, I'll give you that.
And could just talk about wrestling for hours. He's like an encyclopedia. And so, want to wrap this podcast up, episode 300?
Sure. Unless you got something else you want to talk about. Should we swap over to the other company?
Other company. Ring of Honor?
We can talk about them. I haven't followed a whole lot on them, but
They're going to have shows occasionally. July 26th, Death Before Dishonor. Also owned by Tony Khan. TK. That's what the boys call him.
As long as you're one of the boys.
Well, hosting a wrestling podcast makes you one of the boys, right?
Yeah. I'm not going to say it's not.
Are you going to watch Rampage on Friday, if you have a chance?
If I have a chance, yes. We'll see what I have going on in my life. I haven't been able to watch a lot of wrestling in person. Obviously, every now and then I'll get on the apps and kind of rewatch something, but...
You're a busy man, making the millions of dollars.
I wish, but...
Just like Titus O'Neil and Darren Young used to say, millions of dollars.
Yes. So... We'll see if I'm able to watch it.
And you're still healing up a little bit from that beatdown. Lance Brock and Dr. Wrecking Ball.
Still have some nagging pains from that.
Or should I say what the fans call him, Dr. Meatball.
Yeah, he is Dr. Meatball now.
And who knows if that other Lance Brock will ever be back.
Hopefully not. He can stay out in Vegas.
Yeah. I hope he doesn't come back. I can't stand that guy.
Yeah, he's quite a douche.
Yeah. He was all trying to be with the Clash. And then he had this, oh, I'm a good guy now because I'm with Elk. And I have a beard, so cheer me. What an idiot he is.
Yes.
So, AEW Dynamite. I know I had a lot of fun at the show. Got this Blood and Guts t-shirt at episode 300. And can you believe I missed it completely in March, or April, I should say, was the 10th anniversary of 360 Wrestling Fanatic.
Yeah. Very cool. It's been a while.
Quick trivia question. Do you know who the first wrestler interviewed on 360 Wrestling Fanatic was?
I want to go with Nate.
Ooh, he was one of the first, but not the very first.
Yeah, he had to be up there.
I'll give you a hint. Earlier in the night, we were talking about this person.
We talked about 4 or 5 people.
Not on the podcast. We talked about her.
Leah.
Yes, Leah Von Dutch and Leah Vaughn. She was the first ever post-show interview that I've done.
Yes.
So, Tony, to all your fans who missed you so much, who are sick of hearing me all this time, they were stuck with me because you were off hurt and being Mr. Hollywood, asking for more money. So what do you got to say to all your fans?
Thank you for waiting around for me. Hopefully this return was enjoyable for you. We'll see when I can get back, but
you
as
never
we
know.
say, I need. It was really a one-show contract for now, so I got to renegotiate the next one. So.
Remember some names who said they would never go back to a certain company. Bret the Hitman Hart, The Ultimate Warrior, Bruno Sammartino. They all went back.
They did.
So you might be back again. Maybe for another live show.
Hopefully. There's a few shows coming to Michigan that we may be able to go to. So.
Thank you for coming on, Mr. Tony.
Thank you.
And until the next episode, I am Lance, and I am a wrestling fanatic.